Hi everyone! Today I'm going to share my entire work bag collection. Now I have a number of totes that I carry for work and I figured I would do some speed reviews to talk about what fits, the pros and cons, and then stay tuned until the end where I'll share my top picks from my collection. So if we haven't met, my name is Jo and I'm a lover of all luxury bags and beauty. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe, and be sure to click the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Okay, so let's start first with the Goyard Artois. Now, I have a full review on this bag on my channel if you're interested, so I only plan to do a quick review of this one. Now, I have always loved the Goyard canvas. It's otherwise known as Goyardine. And I think it's a bit more understated than, say, brands like Louis Vuitton or Gucci, yet it is still quite distinct. Now, I went ahead and got the black one because I do tend to wear a lot of black when I go to work, but I wanted the trimming to pop, so I did get the brown trim on there. So the Artois is quite different from the arguably more popular St. Louis, but I do think that this one makes for a better work bag. First off, there is the zipper closure, which for me, I think is a huge benefit. I also like that the straps here are much longer than the St. Louis, so it's a lot easier to get it on your shoulder. It's also far more structured than the St. Louis, which I just think gives off a more polished and professional look. Finally, I really like that the Artois has the leather around the corners of the bag here. And I think that this is really nice because it helps protect from corner wear. So when you open the bag, the interior is a light color and it does have a single pocket here, which honestly, I hate this button. It's so hard to get into, so I don't normally have it closed. Since the interior is a light color, I tend to include a bag insert to protect it. I did end up going with the light colored bag insert just so it's easy to see what's inside, but I'll be sure to link that in the description below. So here is what fits in the bag, and I will do a quick run through of all of the items that I have in here, and then these will be the items that I'll put into every work tote I share today so we can get an idea of size comparison in terms of what fits. So first I have my MacBook Pro. This is the size 13-inch, and I just got this case. I actually really like it. I got it from Amazon, so it's magnetic, and it does have this little tab here so you can prop it up like this and then prop up your laptop on top of the case, which I think is pretty neat. So I'll be sure to include this in the link below. Next, I have my iPad mini. I have my large Kirigami pochette. This has all of my power cords and tech accessories. I have a planner. I got this silicone case on Amazon as well, and this just has some more like office supplies, highlighters, and my screen cleaner. I have my water bottle, and I like this one because it's really flat, so it's easy to stick in my bag. And then I have an umbrella and sunglasses, so I'm kind of covered for any type of weather. So in terms of pros and cons, I will say for pros, I just love the look of this bag. I just think it looks so professional, yet it has some style to it. And I also like the size, as I just showed. It fits everything really well. I obviously love that there is the zip closure on it. I'm always paranoid that things are gonna fall outside of my bag, so I just love that I can zip it shut, and this zipper is also really nice. And finally, the strap length is really good on this bag. I like that I can slip my arm through and get it on my shoulder without any issues. In terms of cons, I will say that the straps are quite thin. So they can dig in your shoulder if your bag is really heavy and you're wearing it for a long period of time. Also, I would say the price for this is quite high. When I purchased it, I think it was around $2,500, but I think it's gone up in price since that time. Finally, the availability and the accessibility of this is a con for me because it's only available in boutique in very specific areas. They don't have a lot of Goyard stores in the United States. I just happened to be in New York last year, so I was able to snag one at the boutique. Otherwise, there really aren't many stores that offer them. So if you want to purchase, you might have to purchase pre-loved. And if you do that, they're often sold at a very high markup. So now we have my Marc Jacobs tote bag. This is in the large all leather size, and this is the color Argan Oil, which I just absolutely love. It is beautiful. Now, while I do often use this bag as a travel bag because it is so large, I do occasionally use this as a work tote as well. Now, I just love this tote so much. It really is just such a useful bag. As I said, I absolutely just love the leather. It feels very well made. The leather does feel pliable and substantial, but it still has the structure. I love the handles on this bag. The handles are quite long, so you can slip this under your shoulder again with no issue. Obviously, I love the zip top because it just helps to keep everything inside. In the interior, there is a zipper pocket, so you have a little place to store things, and then 2 other pockets in there as well, so you can put extra items in there too. So the interior of the bag, on the sides at least, do appear to be wipeable, but I do like to put a bag insert on the inside. So again, I'll be sure to include links to those as well. So the bag doesn't have any feet at the bottom, but they do have this little added layer of leather here, which I do think is at least helpful in protecting the base. In terms of what fits, everything I previously shared fits with no issue, and I do have plenty more room, so I probably could fit my lunch or an extra pair of shoes in there as well. So again, this is a very spacious bag. In terms of pros and cons, I would say that this bag wears quite well. Now, I have not been gentle with this bag. I have used this one a lot, whether it's for work or for travel. And while there are some like dings and some wear on the corners, overall, she is just looking absolutely fantastic, and I've been really impressed. Again, I really like that the handles are very long, so I can easily slip it on my shoulders. And the handles in general are thicker than, say, the Goyard bag. So I do feel like they are a lot more comfortable as well. Again, the zipper top is a pro for me. And finally, the price. I think the price is worth noting. So right now, this bag retails for around $595. It also pops up often on sale at department stores as well, so that's something to keep an eye out for. But I think that given its size and the fact that this is an entirely leather bag, I think that is a fantastic price. In terms of cons, well, I do think the size is great. I think for some, the size is going to be a little too much. It really is a huge bag. Also, given the size and given the fact that this is an all leather bag, it does weigh more, I would say, especially if you have a lot inside. Now, they do have a canvas option for this tote, so that would definitely be lighter, and it's cheaper than this leather one. Finally, I think a potential con is that this style isn't necessarily going to be everyone's cup of tea with this whole the tote bag on the front of it, especially perhaps in a more professional setting. You might want something that is a little more understated. So next we have the Neverfull, and you guys know I hate this bag. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but overall, this is the Neverfull MM. And I have the monogram one, so it does have the vachetta lining on it. It does come with the extra pouch that I never use. And yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about the features. So this is how everything fits. As you can see, it does all fit in the bag, but there wouldn't be too much room, maybe right here, for anything else. Again, for this bag, I do tend to use an insert just because I don't want the interior to get too dirty. And I like that it adds some more structure and organization. But when you do add the bag insert, it does take away a lot of space from the interior of this bag. So in terms of pros and cons, for pros, I would say that the strap length is pretty good. It's not too hard to get on my shoulders. And that's about it. Those are all the pros. In terms of cons, okay, so first off, obviously the vachetta. I just don't think it's practical for an everyday work bag or an everyday tote bag. Now, this was my first ever Louis Vuitton bag, which is why I haven't sold it, even though I don't like it. So when I first purchased it, I really didn't know what I was doing with this leather. I didn't know how to care for it, and clearly it shows. You can see the leather lining has really worn down a lot, and it's quite patinaed now. But I'm just not willing to pay for the leather to be replaced because it is so expensive nowadays to take things in for repair at Louis Vuitton. So this is just how this bag is going to look for me. Also, speaking about the leather, the straps are extremely thin and uncomfortable if the bag is heavy. So if you have this bag, I would recommend getting the shoulder saver, I believe it's called. This is sold by one of my friends on here, Amir Luxury Collection, and you can just strap this on like this, and then that does provide a thicker space for this to rest on your shoulders. So I really think this is a great invention, and I will be sure to include the links if you need it below. Also, the price. I just think the fact that this bag has surpassed $2,000 is just mind-boggling. And finally, the fact that everyone has this bag, I think, is a drawback. I don't know, I just feel like it's so common. So it's just, I don't know, like a little overdone. But again, this bag has a cult following. People love it for a reason. So if you love it, I'm not knocking it. You continue to sport this. But it's definitely not one of my personal favorite tote bags. Okay, so a newer bag to my collection is this RSVP parachute bag. Now this bag is definitely giving cool girl vibes. I like that they only make 500 of every bag. And so if you look at the bags they have, you'll see that there is always a number on it. And that is the number of the bag that you have. And it just feels extra special to me. And I just love that idea of having kind of that limited edition piece. Now, this bag clearly is a lot more slouchy than the other bags I've shared so far. It features a really nice calfskin leather. And another feature I love is that it has really thick, padded, like rolled straps, which make it extremely comfortable to wear. There are two exterior pockets, this big one, and then there's one here that would be great for like a cell phone. There's a magnetic closure, and then the interior is a micro suede feeling material. There is a single pocket there, and then leather lining at the base. The bottom doesn't have feet, but I do like that it says RSVP on there. So this is how everything fits. As you can see, there definitely is still room, so I could fit a lot more. This is definitely a very spacious bag. So in terms of pros and cons, I really do like this style. I know that this goes against what I just said, but I do like that cool girl slouch of it. I like how it has these really wide handles because this is very in style right now, very on trend. Again, like I said, we're seeing this very much with YSL, with Gucci and other brands. So if you are looking for a more trendy type bag, I think this is definitely a great choice. But I also think that this silhouette, and given it is very like quiet luxury, very effortless, I do think that this will be a timeless look for a bag as well, even though this specific silhouette is very much in style at the moment. I also love the handles. Like I said, I really do think this is my most comfortable bag to wear for a work tote because the handles just have that extra padding and they are so thick. The bag also is quite spacious as well, as I showed, yet it feels really light, especially compared to the Marc Jacobs bag. I feel like this one is a lot lighter. And in terms of pricing, this is similar to the other mid-range prices. So I do think it's fair given, again, you are getting an all leather bag, and I do think it is a very nice leather. In terms of cons, I will say, I mean, it's a big bag and it is essentially a black hole. Like, it's a huge space. There's not a lot of ways to organize. And because it's so slouchy, everything kind of just jumbles around if you don't have an insert on it. Also, the bottom isn't very structured, so I typically do add like a base or something inside here so that when I'm carrying it, it doesn't sag at the bottom. Finally, I haven't had this bag long enough to really talk to the wear and tear, but I will say that this is a very soft leather. It does feel like it will be pretty durable, but given it is softer, I think something to keep in mind is that it might end up scratching a little more easily or just getting a little more scuffed up. This is definitely a great option, especially for someone, again, who wants either more of a trendy look or at the very least a more relaxed, casual look. And next we have the New York Tote from Demellier. So this bag was recently gifted to me, so I haven't had a lot of time to try it, but I do have some initial thoughts. Now, this bag really is just such a work of art. I love the unique shape and I absolutely adore this Bordeaux color. I had been kind of torn between the cognac brown and this beautiful shade, and I am really glad I went with this one because I do feel like it just looks so sophisticated. Now the bag itself has snaps on both sides, and then it does have a magnetic closure, and then it opens up to a very spacious interior. It has a pocket on either side. One of them has a zipper as well. And the bag also has some nice long handles. In terms of what fits, here's how it looks. Everything does fit, and honestly, you could probably put an extra thing or two in here, but it won't magnetically shut. So in terms of pros and cons, the bag really is gorgeous. It is just such a statement piece, and it really reminds me of Polen bags in terms of that architectural design. I also love the length of the shoulder straps. I think they are pretty good for getting it on and off of your shoulders. And I do love the leather too. It is, you can still kind of feel the quality of the leather, but you can tell that it's also treated. So I feel like this is going to be a very hard wearing bag. Again, I've already said this, but I just love this color. I just think it looks so sophisticated. I think it's going to be even better for the fall and the winter, but I do think this is a bag that you could wear year round. That's a little pop of color outside of, you know, the normal black. In terms of cons, I would say that the weight of this bag is quite heavy. I think that that again is because of the amount of leather and the construction of the bag. Also, because the bag has some structure to it, You can kind of see it does kind of bulge out, right? Because it's this kind of dumpling look. So it can get a little bulky, whereas some of my other bags, they're either flat or they can kind of squish flat to your body. This one, because of its structure, will not. Also, again, there are no zipper closures on this bag. Now, it does snap shut if you need it to, but I don't really ever get to snap it shut because I have things in it that are too tall, so it's always pretty much open like this. Overall, again, I do think this is a great piece, and I think it's going to be a great addition, like I said, for my fall work wardrobe. So this is a canvas book tote in the size 33 that I was gifted by the brand VERAFIED. And I just think this really is such a beautiful bag. This gives to me very much Hermes vibes. Now this book tote style does come in a variety of different colors and materials, but I went ahead and went with the canvas one because I just felt like the look of it was really sharp, but it does come in all leather and it does come in suede as well, which is equally as pretty. So the bag has this thin strap that you can actually connect and it will keep the bag shut. But I like to keep it a little stretched out for a more relaxed look, and then also it allows me to hold more inside of the tote. So there is a magnetic closure for the protection of your things. And it also does come with a strap here, and you connect it caddy corner right here and right here. The interior is just a large open space. It does have a zipper pocket here and then a large slip pocket here. So this is how everything fits, and honestly, this is the smallest tote that I'll be sharing today. So as you can see, everything does kind of pop out at the top. The case was really snug to fit in. I can fit my laptop without the case much easier, but even then it is a little snug. So in terms of pros and cons for this one, I think a pro is that it definitely looks like a very put together, professional, sophisticated vibe. I really like the style of this bag. I also love that this could sub in as a purse if you don't need it as a work bag. I know for other people out there, I am a mini bag girl, but I feel like this would be a great size for someone who likes larger style bags. This bag is actually the most affordable of the ones I've mentioned so far. So this was $348, which again, to me, I feel like this does look a lot more expensive. Like even here, you can kind of see like all of the woven details around all of these edges. So just things like that I think look pretty good. Again, I appreciate the bottom of the bag has feet. I just kept the protectors on, but I do like that aspect, especially since the bottom of the bag has leather on it. In terms of cons, I think the straps are an odd size. So they are a little taller, so it is nice you can slip it in the crook of your arm, but they're not long enough that you can easily slip your arm through to get it onto your shoulder. You kind of have to like thread it on this way and then get it all the way up onto your shoulder. Now it does come with a strap, like I said, but even then I feel like the strap is a little strange because it's on caddy corner, which first of all, I'm not really a huge fan of caddy corner crossbody straps, but in this case, the like distance here is so close, so the bag kind of comes up very skinny in terms of the strap versus, you know, having the straps connect here on the ends of the bag. So I feel like it's just a weird way to carry it. I would probably end up just carrying it top handle instead, just because I think that would look the best. Overall, I think this is a beautiful bag. I do hope that they make larger sizes in the future, but for someone that wants a bag that could either be a work tote or sub in for a really chic, larger purse, I think this is a great option. So next we have this leather tote from Madewell. This is the Ziptop Essential Leather Tote, and actually it is sold out on the Madewell website and potentially discontinued because I don't even see it showing up there anymore, but I was still able to find it on Amazon as well as Nordstrom Rack. So this tote does have a lot of great features. First off, it is all leather and I adore the color. This is very similar to my Marc Jacobs tote in the argan oil. I just love that cognac, like really rich color brown. Again, there is a zipper closure, which I love. And then the interior is quite spacious. It does have a single pocket on the interior here. So here's how everything fits in the bag, and it does have the ability to zip shut like this, which I really like. So in terms of pros and cons, this is a mixed bag, no pun intended. So first off, I do like the style of this bag. Like I said, I do love the color. I love how it has the two sets of handles. I love, again, the zipper top, all the things that we've talked about, they're all good. I also like that there is an exterior pocket for ease of access when you're traveling. And I should also note that this bag actually was a very good price, which was the main driver for why I purchased it. I had actually caught this bag probably right when they were phasing it out, so I got it on super clearance and it was $89. And so I did snag it really quickly. It's since then sold out, but like I said, it is available on places like Nordstrom Rack. It's currently going for $125, which I still think is a pretty good price for a Madewell tote. Now for the cons. So this is where it gets interesting. Now, I have been a die-hard fan of Madewell bags for a long time. I have one of the original transport totes that I feel like everyone had years ago. And I also purchased a weekender bag probably 5 years ago that is equally good. So I would say I'm pretty familiar with the quality of Madewell's leather. But this leather isn't it. And I honestly am so surprised at how thin it feels. And it also feels like really plasticky. It doesn't feel like they're good quality leather. So I ended up deciding to keep it just because it was a good price and I figured I could just use it kind of as a bag that I don't really care as much about if something happens to it. But to be honest, again, I'm just really surprised at just how cheap it felt. And again, maybe that's why they phased it out, because they just knew it wasn't very good. So I hope they make improvements to it and that they re-release it, because from a style and functionality standpoint, I do think this one is quite nice. And finally, we have this beautiful Italian suede shopper tote from Quince. Now, this is my first purchase from Quince. So I went ahead and took the plunge and I got this tote because I just felt like it looked so beautiful. And I felt like the reviews looked pretty good. And this tote was only $150, which again, for an Italian suede tote, I felt like that was a really good price. They also have a pretty good return policy as well, so I figured I could just give it a go. So I have to say I was quite impressed when I received it. It was wrapped really well, and the suede itself feels really nice, like very high quality. I love that it has so many pockets. So right off the bat, it has an exterior pocket here with some hidden magnets. It has another pocket on the back, same thing. And then it has two side pockets here, as well as on the other side. The zipper as well is really beautiful and it just feels very well made. And then in the interior, it's very light. And I just love how there's additional like organizational spots. So There's this pocket here. There is a zipper pocket here. And then there are two other spacious pockets right here. So here's how everything fits. As you can see, it's pretty spacious, and also because I could organize things like my iPad back here and put my umbrella and my sunglasses on the exterior, I actually would still have a lot of room for other items. And then there's still the exterior pockets as well. So again, the zipper pops up in a way that you can zip it closed here. It's a little tight, but you can zip it shut, so you have that added security. So in terms of pros and cons, I do feel like this bag is gorgeous. It just feels so luxurious. The leather feels very substantial. It feels really, truly like a luxe product. I also love that it has so many pockets for organization on the sides and on the front and back. And then also the interior, I feel like, has great organization. And again, the interior just looks very polished and again, very luxe. Also, again, I think the strap length is good. No issues getting it on and off of my shoulder. Of course, there's also details like the feet at the bottom of the bag. So overall, this just really looks like a very expensive bag. So the fact that it's $150 is just really mind-blowing to me. In terms of the cons, you may have noticed that I still have the tag on the interior of the bag because I honestly haven't used it yet. And the reason is because I was talking with Minx for All the other day on Instagram because she was in search of a brown suede tote. And I had told her, hey, I just got this beautiful Italian suede tote from Quince. You should definitely check it out. And she responded back and told me that she had actually purchased this tote, but that the color actually bled onto her clothes, so she ended up returning it. So given that info, I actually haven't worn it yet because now I'm kind of scared it will stain my clothes. I did test it. I took a white towel and I rubbed it against the suede, and a little color did bleed off. So what I plan to do is I'm going to get suede protection spray. So I was doing some research, and that people had said if you spray the bag with like a suede protection spray, it kind of puts a barrier or a coating on there more to protect the color and protect the bag from water, but it can also potentially help protect against color bleed and color transfer from the bag onto your clothes. So I'm going to give that a go. I haven't tried it yet, but if it does end up bleeding, then obviously that's a huge con and I'll be very sad. But I'll definitely keep you guys in the loop with how this works, because I think if it does work, this bag really is quite a gem. So in terms of my favorites, while I do honestly like all of the work totes I shared with you, otherwise I wouldn't have them. Well, except the Neverfull. I don't like the Neverfull. But I do love all of the totes that I have. But I would say that my two current favorites are my Goyard Artois and my Marc Jacobs leather totes. Now, obviously, it's for all the reasons I already noted. I will say some of the other ones that I shared today, given they were gifted relatively recently, I'm still trying them out. And so it could be that some of those move up on my list of bags that I love. But right now, these two are my tried and true, but these are all great options. So if you have any questions on any of these, or if you want to get more of my thoughts down the road, please feel free to leave a comment below with any questions. I always love having conversation with you guys in the comments below, so definitely leave a note for me. So that wraps up my review of all of my work bag totes. To be honest, I don't switch out my totes quite as often as I switch out my normal bags, but I do love being able to have all of these options. So let me know what you think of my entire collection, and also let me know what your favorite tote bag is. Maybe there's one that you just love that I haven't tried yet. As always, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe, and I really look forward to connecting with you guys here in this community. If you want to watch some of my other bag collection videos, I'll include a playlist right here. Otherwise, bye for now.